Another quick one before I head off to work. That's right. Yeah, I have a day job. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this story. Yes, this is the Little Golden Book. Yeah, right. A child's guide to online political discussion. That's right. Everyone I don't like is literally the big bad guy from WW2. Now, this has been a thing that's happened online. It's been happening online for a long time. We all know what Godwin's law is. You know, it's a discussion until you get to the point where someone's accusing you of being exactly like that guy. That's right. And this has largely been online, but it's bleeding off into other parts of society. We see this going into universities over the past few years. It's led up to some really awful things that have happened in recent times. Yeah, we're talking about what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's right. And this is why it's become a big issue that this is bleeding into. That's right. Even into grade schools, high schools, down at that level. And the indoctrination has become so prevalent that now we're seeing this even in Canada, British Columbia. We have this happening. Now, this image was sent to me by a parent in British Columbia, Canada. Their grade 9 child was subjected to this lesson, a quote unquote lesson, from their public school teacher. That's right. And this is the lesson. What is this? Trumpitized? Comparing Adolf Hitler with Donald Trump. What could this possibly be a lesson for? Now, of course, the student, grade 9 student, young kid, saw that this was inappropriate for the classroom and snapped a picture so he could show this to his mom to say, this is weird. Why is this even happening? I don't even get the purpose of the lesson here. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the curriculum and what we're supposed to be learning in school. But yet this is the stuff that's being taught to kids. And I don't know if I doubt this is part of the curriculum, but this is I'm guessing the teacher in the classroom unilaterally deciding that this is something that they need to introduce other people's children to, right? This isn't someone in an academic situation where they're, having discourse with another professor. No, that's not what's happening. This is indoctrination of children. Now, I said in this post, the taxpayer should not be paying for this indoctrination of the youth to become political assassins like we saw yesterday in Utah. That's right. This is something that's been happening, and this is where it's leading. It's leading to the political discourse that is no longer discussions between people, because you're literally comparing them to the worst guy in history, the guy that everybody knows did some really, really awful things. But you're comparing that to what? Words saying that, hey, I don't like immigration, perhaps, or I don't like people illegally immigrating to the country, that kind of thing. It's unbelievable. And the discussion, of course, people want to have this discussion on one side of the aisle. The other side of the aisle, they just want to turn to violence. We know that now. The left projects their own evil, says Jamie on X. Yes, they do. They're the ones indoctrinating the youth, not the right. They're behaving like the bad guys that they say that they hate. Jackie says this tracks. Our eldest was in school in BC from grade 3 to 7. Primarily, that was okay. But once they hit elementary, the focus fell off academics and 100% into social issues. They changed the Christmas concert. It was too offensive to a production about climate change and recycling. This is horrible. This is awful. We should be teaching kids arithmetic, reading, writing, skills, this kind of thing. But instead, what are we doing? We're indoctrinating them to be little foot soldiers in the culture war, where they should be coming up with their own ideas about politics. Teach them the basics, teach them about civics, perhaps. That's it. And let them decide on their own. It's not the teacher's job. In fact, I would say it's actually against what the teachers should be doing to be introducing this kind of thing. Pilgrim asks, what's the lesson here? There seems to be no lesson from what I was told other than to demonize the president of the United States. Now, this parent, of course, for real reasons, and obvious reasons, didn't want to share what school exactly this was, because they don't want to be subjected to reprimands or having some sort of action happen against their kid in this school. So obviously they didn't tell me. They told me this was in the Penticton region, in that area. I don't know. Perhaps somebody finds out about this. Perhaps, you know, the internet sleuthing, that can happen. Or perhaps having this out there and seeing the reaction, because obviously the reaction on Twitter is massive. I just posted this last night and it's already at 10,000 likes. So many comments, so many retweets, that perhaps the person that brought this to me might feel a little bit more emboldened to say, you know what, there's enough support here. We could do something about this. We could actually talk about where this is, how this is not, it's inappropriate for this setting, and that this teacher shouldn't be doing this, should be reprimanded, fired, what have you, from that person's position. Now, Script Trooper pointed this one out, saying the irony of this is that Hitler did this very thing in schools as it relates to his political opposition. They are literally the thing that they claim to be fighting against. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that this is where we're going. Now, I made this statement just yesterday. I really think that this needs to stop. Wokeness, all of this stuff needs to be out of academia. And I think this is probably the way to go with this. I think that all public funding to universities, colleges, elementary and secondary schools should be cut completely until they can prove that they have rid themselves of any and all woke ideology. Woke equals terrorism. This is actually what's happening now. We now have woke culture is no longer just they've woken up to stuff. No. They don't want to speak. They don't want to communicate. They just want to bring violence to political discussions. No more loss of life. No more state-funded terror. This is state-funded terror if this is what's happening in the schools, indoctrinating kids so that they can't think for themselves, so that they're brainwashed into thinking only one way politically. And this is what's happening now. New Day Canada points out, don't forget, the Liberal government was caught using our tax dollars to brainwash our children against Conservatives. The Liberals are the most corrupt, unethical government in Canada's history. And this is from Blacklock's reporter from just last year. Documents show that Ahmed Hussein of the Liberal Party okayed $268,000 guiding and instructing school children to identify Conservative Party with bigots and consider the red ensign, the old flag before it was made the liberal flag that you see above here, the liberal red flag that came out in the 80s. They wanted to consider the red ensign, the original flag of Canada, the one that flew during the First and Second World War. That's right. They want to consider that a hate symbol. Did the minister approve this? Yes, he did. He absolutely did. This is what's happening in Canada. This is unbelievable, and I just can't stand and watch it. So I wanted to share this with you guys. This is unbelievable. I don't know, do what you do. Internet sleuthing, figure out what's happening here. Is this happening in any other schools? This needs to come to an end because it is actually getting people hurt. This is actually getting people hurt. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. We'll see you in the next video, or we'll see you tonight in the live stream. That's a community event that's happening at 5:30 Pacific time, and that's 8:30 Eastern. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.